we've all in Ghana, at least, we started to hear about what's happening with the hashtag Zimbabwean Lives Matter. And for people who know little about what's been happening, is there anything you can you tell us, a little background of events, and context for everything that's happening currently?
I think that's the most important thing, because a lot of people don't actually understand the context of what's being spoken about by Zimbabweans.
Yes.
So I'm just going to backtrack slightly to what hashtag Zimbabwe Lives Matter is all about.
Yeah.
So basically, the protest is birthed from allegations of abduction and torture of Zimbabwean citizens, of government opponents, and they've been saying that there's somewhat of a compromised judiciary. A justice system is just messed up, according to them. There's rampant corruption. There's an ailing economy, dilapidated public health system, and it's literally on the verge of collapsing. There's also high unemployment, things like severe food shortages, and just generally an unhappy youth populace who feel robbed of their dreams, of their future. So for them, I think it was one of the biggest things that has actually come out of all of this, is that you hear a lot of young people. It doesn't matter which political party you support, but it's almost like a collective citizen movement to just say, government, we want human rights to be respected. We want to have our dreams back. We want you to look at different things and to hear us when we speak. And right now, we're not speaking as the ruling party, which is ZANU-PF, or the main opposition, which is MDC, but we are just speaking as Zimbabwean citizens.
And what's been the response? I mean, we're reading headlines that the president says things like he's going to flash out opponents, and it doesn't seem like he's being receptive to what's being demanded.
I mean, it's a very difficult one, and I always say to people that it's so difficult to understand the Zimbabwean situation unless if you are in Zimbabwe, because there's a very big disconnect between what happens on social media versus what's happening on the ground. So if you're to read the social media, you'd probably think that we are like in the middle of a war zone.
Yeah.
And it's like Baghdad or one of these countries with like crazy war happening. But it's actually not like that.
Okay.
What happens in Zimbabwe is that social media is a lot of young people, a lot of people in diaspora who have been disgruntled over the years because they've had to come out of the country for different reasons, mainly being the fact that the economy has been so terrible for them. They've had to move to other countries. Families have been separated. So you find that the population of people on social media, they're more of the urban Zimbabweans who have access to internet and who have access to more information than the people in the rural areas. If you were to go to rural Zimbabwe today, they'll probably tell you that they don't know anything about Zimbabwean Lives Matter. So there's a very big disconnect between what's actually on the ground and what's on social media. However, I feel that there's also a very big conversation around human rights that hasn't been looked into, and this is the reason why you find people doing this very thing. And now when the president comes out, I think he also looks at the complete population, and unfortunately the majority of the people are not online. Even if you look at the numbers of Zimbabweans on Twitter, for example, on Instagram, it's very little as compared to the entire population. So he may be speaking to that other demographic which is not online and doesn't know what's happening, but they may be feeling the hardships of the economy, but they don't necessarily have a voice. And this is why social media has become so important, because in as much as on the ground everything may seem peaceful, but a lot of people are disgruntled, and they will tell you that they're unhappy with a lot of things, mainly being the fact that our economy is just dead, and there's a lot of things that need to be spoken about that aren't being spoken about.
Wow. Honestly, you've given me very, very rich perspective on what's happening, especially even in the discussion of the disconnect on social media. Thank you so much, Misred. I hear you've been to Ghana before.
I'm a citizen of Ghana, man.
Oh,
like,
wow.
I love this country